Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're taking a look at a little leak that Grant just put up on the Discord. It's one that I really want to learn more about this stuff. We still don't know when the closed beta is coming. So until we get there, I'm going to speculate heavily on this sort of stuff because I love looking into it. But this is more about your player character, your hunter, and their weapons and the sort of benefits that you can get. So I want to look deeper into this. We'll see some of the effects that it does give and stuff like that. But I want to go a little bit deeper and look more closely at some of the fine-tuning details of this because it's something that I am very curious about. Also, we do have the new epoch of the council coming up, the elections. I did nominate myself, so if you want to vote for me, jump over to Discord. There's a section for it. You can check it out. I put my little post there. I put a little video accompanying it, which I'll leave linked in the description if you want to check it out. But basically, that's all I'm going to say on the topic. I don't want to bring that sort of stuff too much to the channel. Channel's more about gameplay and fun, but if you're into that side of things, you can go and check that out. On top of that, they do have a sort of competition going, which I will do a video covering all the entries that I see because I really do like this competition, which is the Last Alluvial. They did a live stream last Friday, I think it was. No, it was Saturday Australian time, where they went through this whole process of how they're doing the Last Alluvial, where people in the community can create it. I've seen some really cool entries. I'm just waiting for a few more to come in because I know some people have told me they're working on some, and then I'll go through them all in a video and you can see, because one of these entries will actually become the final alluvial in the game. It's really cool. If you want to learn details to make one, I think there's still a bit of time, so I'll leave that video linked in the description as well. But on to this video. I'm just going to play it quickly so you can see it, and then we'll talk a bit about it, zoom in a bit more, and try and see what we're looking at. So this is basically, like I said, player character getting placed and, activating some synergies, which look really cool and sound really nice as well. Okay, so that was it. Like I said, sounds cool, looks cool. They were just more showing off the synergy bonuses and the effects, which look really clean, sound really clean. But from that, I re-recorded it, zoomed in a bit, so that we could actually look at this. Let's just turn the volume off for now. And I wanted to zoom in on this stuff because this is what really interests me at the moment. So we've had one other screenshot of this. We haven't actually seen video footage of it. So I was really curious on this. So there's a few things that I noticed straight away. Is firstly, we do have, with the alluvials down the bottom here, it's hard because the play thing's blocking it, but you can see Axon is a stage 2, Alice is a stage 1, and Axodon is a stage 3. Now, it looks like for weapons and equipment, keeping in mind some of this could be placeholders, this might not be how it is, but this is all speculation. Looks like we could have stages of the weapons, which is really interesting. So this one's a stage 1 fire sword. So we could have stages to them. I don't know whether they'll get enhanced visuals or whether they'll, just get the stat increases, how we will do that, whether maybe we have to fuse weapons together, kind of like we have to fuse alluvials together to upgrade them. So I'm really curious to see how that pans out. The other thing we can see is that we do have this fire sword, which is, and maybe when you upgrade a fire sword, it becomes, maybe you get the secondary, class or affinity on it. I don't know. Maybe that could be a thing. I'm not sure how that will function exactly. In a previous screenshot we did see that some of the armor looked like it had, I can't remember whether it was a class or affinity. We are on a very basic one. We're on a tier 0 armor here. So it may well be that we're on a tier 0 and it doesn't come with one. And then maybe the other armors do come with a class or an affinity. And that's how you build your combined class affinity bonus. Not too sure how that is going to work. But I was curious on the weapons. So it looks like we are going to have multiple weapons that have the same class, which is interesting. So basically here we're on a fire sword, which is a fighter. So it's kind of hard to see, but when it's zoomed in, it's hard to make it super clear. But if we go over to the pistol. So this pistol, it looks like it's water, but it also looks like a fighter as well. So it looks like we're gonna have multiple. Keeping in mind that could be a placeholder. I thought the gun was going to be more of a Scion thing. And then, but however, we do have the Gauntlet, which is the Scions. So maybe I'm not too sure exactly how it's going to go with how that's going to pan out in general. But it looks like we might have like different guns, different weapons that have the same class. Now, past that, we do see all the stats down the bottom here. And to me, this is looking like, obviously we're going to have, well, when we look at the armor, you've got health, you've got grit and resolve, which is like defense, like physical defense and magical defense is the way I understand it. That's how I would interpret those. I haven't actually found out exactly what all these are. But then we do have other things like agility, which is like dodge. So we've got the other stats there, which I'm not too sure, which is like, I'm assuming some will be like, you know, your physical attack, your elemental damage, rating, like magic attack, if for lack of a better word. So I'm not too sure exactly what all the symbols are, but that's sort of what we're looking at the moment. On the stats on the weapon, and then on the stats on the armor as well. So really interesting. I'm just really getting desperate to see some full gameplay and just like hopefully when they get the closed beta out, they at least let the release of like all that sort of background information, like what all the stats are, all that stuff. So at least we can start theory crafting at least, because it's a bit of fun. But I do like this little clip, how it's got like all the stage 1 alluvials, because a lot of the gameplay leaks we get are like, you know, stage 3s and stuff like that. And I love progression in games. Like, I am a big fan of progression and starting with little things. Like, I love the start of a Pokemon game when you're just walking around with your Charmander and your Nidoran, and then you finally progress them. You get to a Charmeleon and a Nidorino, and then you got your Nidoking and your Charizard. Like, I love progression, so I actually like this because it gives you a feel of like what it's actually going to be like for real players at the start of the game. So I think that's going to be really cool as well. But as you can see here, we've got the Nature Gauntlet, and then, you know, we go through a few of the weapons. The pistol, I don't know whether they're always going to be labeled with the element and then, sorry, the affinity and then the weapon, because the pistol looks like it's water unless it doesn't have an affinity. Because to me, like the sword looks water, the pistol looks purple. So this might be actually, you know what it is? I reckon this pistol might be, I don't know if that's a water or it's like a nullified symbol. It's too hard to tell on zoom in, but maybe the tier 0 weapons don't actually have an affinity and they've just got the class. That would make sense to me, because this pistol is a tier 0. And as you can see, like the sword's a tier 1, then we've got tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. So not too sure exactly how it's going to pan out, and that would make sense with my assumption that maybe tier 0 armor doesn't come with, you know, the class or affinity, but then maybe tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has something. I'm not too sure exactly how that's going to pan out, but I just wanted to jump into it because I know there's a lot of people hanging out for closed beta, and anything to look a bit deeper at is really fun. But in general, like, it's looking pretty clean. Obviously my zoomed in version's crap because it's digitally zoomed in and doesn't look good, but I mean, it looks really clean, really smooth in this. The animations, everything's looking really nice. And yeah, I just when it gets some game action happening. Also, I don't know which rendition of the health bars this is, but this one does look really clean. I don't know what they're going to end up going with when we launch, and they'll probably readjust it during that phase as well. But I think this is a really clean version of it. It's very basic. I'm a very basic person. Yes, you guys know that, but I do like it. We got the hyper meter. I really want to have a chat with Aaron about hyper, or find out more about the hyper system, because I really do like it. For those that missed it, hyper is, I'll probably do a whole video talking about it once I get more information. But it's basically like when you're attacking something that you're advantageous against, your like hyper meter builds up, and I kind of view it like a boss berserk meter, where once you get to the full meter, it changes your combat style, and like maybe some characters are like useless until they go into hyper mode, and then they become just straight OP. Some might be, you know, just really strong at basic, and then the hyper meta doesn't really change them too much, and then some might be balanced where they're, you know, okay strong, and then they become pretty strong. So I'm keen to see how that balances out. Plus, it's going to add more emphasis on, you know, advantages and stuff like that, and team building, and then countering picks to what your enemy picks, and having a well-diversified deck. Like, I just think all of this is going to be really, really fun for theory crafting, no lifing, and all that stuff. But we will cover that more in depth in another video. But anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.